Welcome to Soul Antique. I am Jordy, and today we're going to create these enchanting magic leaf earrings. For this project, I'll be using 3 pieces of 22 gauge brass wire. However, feel free to explore other metals or gauges within the range of 20 to 24. As we learned in the previous tutorial featuring the sun pendant, check out the card in the upper right corner of the screen. We will begin by using round nose pliers. It's important to maintain tension on the wire, pulling it away from the thumb using the pliers in each movement. I'm holding the wire with my left thumb while simultaneously pulling it away using the pliers during each motion. I try to do half or less than a half of a loop in each movement of the wrist. This technique helps safeguard our wrists from any strain. Unlike the uniform height of the mountains in the pendant tutorial, in these earrings, we'll employ varying heights or numbers of loops for each mountain. The first mountain will comprise 3 loops in height. The second will be 4 loops high. The third will consist of 5 loops. The largest mountain, positioned in the center, will reach a height of 7 loops. Following that, we'll craft another mountain with 5 loops, then one with 4 loops, and finally, the last one will be 3 loops high. In each of these mountains, a valley will consist of 3 movements, succeeded by an ascent of 2 movements. The pattern continues with an ascent of 2 movements for each loop, adjusting according to the mountain's height. The process concludes at the top mountain, where only a single movement or half a loop is necessary. It's crucial to maintain consistent plier height to ensure uniform loop sizes. Additionally, focus and concentration are key throughout this piece. Rectifying errors can be challenging with wire, as you'll see in a few moments, as I encounter a small mistake in this demonstration. If, for any reason, you need to pause the wrapping before completing the piece, I highly recommend concluding after the third movement of a valley. Avoid stopping in the middle or at the mountain's peak, instead, end at the third valley movement. If you find this information valuable, I encourage you to share this video with your friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, as that greatly assists in optimizing the video's visibility in the algorithm, benefiting both this video and future ones. If you have any doubts or questions that require further clarification, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. For those wondering why I'm using an AI voice as the narrator, please understand that my English pronunciation is not very clear. To ensure better comprehension and communication, I've opted for this approach. This way, it's easier for you to grasp the meaning behind each word. Thank you for your understanding. As you will observe now, fixing a mistake in the wire is indeed possible. However, it's far simpler to prevent such errors by maintaining consistent concentration throughout the process. To cut a piece of wire using this technique, follow these steps. Hold the wire with your thumb. Place the pliers around the wire at this point and apply moderate pressure. Begin moving the pliers in an up and down motion while firmly gripping the wire. Now, let's proceed by threading the second wire through the first loop of the initial wire. After accomplishing this, bend the second wire and cross it 2 or 3 times. Employ flat pliers without teeth to carefully twist the second wire until the central hole is nearly eliminated. Let's now shift our focus to the third wire. Begin by using round nose pliers to create around 6 or 7 loops. As you finish forming the loops, ensure that the wire's starting point is on the back part of the loop. Leave approximately 3 centimeters, a little over an inch, on the front part, as this will serve as the decorative spiral at the center. To craft the spiral, utilize flat pliers. Gently bend the end of the wire, aiming for a smaller size, as this will be the center of the spiral. The smaller the bend, the rounder the resulting spiral will be. Hold the wire, using your thumb as a base, and gradually coil it while gripping half of the spiral with the pliers. Take your time and advance very gradually, ensuring that you move less than a quarter of the spiral with each motion. Whenever possible, I take the opportunity to enhance the finish of the piece by using a hammer and an anvil. I find that flattening most of my spirals using this method results in a superior look. Occasionally, when dealing with larger spirals, we might need to make adjustments to the hammered finish using flat nose pliers. Moving forward, we will conceal the knot of the second wire by placing the coil we've recently crafted with the third wire over it. Gently pull the coil downwards until the spiral is positioned above the central hole. Now, let's proceed to guide one wire backwards. In order to cut this wire, we'll utilize cutting pliers since it would be quite challenging to cut it using the other technique due to the inadequate grip. Next, using flat pliers, we'll shape another spiral. Following this, we'll subject the piece to hammering once more. Eventually, we'll gently bend the spiral using flat pliers without teeth. Continuing, let's take the round nose pliers and create 2 loops as close to the second wire as possible. Since the loops might appear slightly off-center, I'll make a subtle adjustment by moving the pliers slightly backward to achieve better alignment. Next, employing flat nose pliers, I'll guide the wire once around the loop, then proceed to cut it using cutting pliers. To prevent any potential scratching, I'll press the wire inward. Finally, I'll use the round nose pliers once again to center the loops. Let's now craft the earring hooks. Begin by creating a half loop using the smaller part of the round nose pliers. Then, form another half loop in the opposite direction of the first, shaping it like the infinity symbol. Using the larger section of the pliers, shape a third half loop, opposing the previous loops and resembling a snake's curve. Trim the excess wire and proceed to hammer the hook gently. With these steps complete, your first earring is now finished. If you found this video helpful, I kindly ask you to share it with your friends, like it, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'd also like to express my gratitude to my patrons, as their support motivates me to enhance my content. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find the link in the video description.